Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Bright Side. I'm your host, Caroline Susko, and if you're new here, welcome. For those of you who are new, this podcast is my way of sharing my life experiences and perspective with the world in hope of making someone's life a little brighter and a lot more fun. So basically what I like to call this podcast is the unofficial girl's guide to life and kind of the conversations you would have behind your bedroom door with other people about tea talking, confidence boosting, mental health conversations, all of that and so much more. And that's what we're here to do each and every episode. Now, today I was brainstorming episodes and I couldn't think of one for a while. I had a list, but none of them were hitting home this week. And one thing about me, if it's not coming to my head right at the moment, I need to stop, pivot, and regroup. So I turned on Sex and the City and watched a couple episodes, and Carrie Bradshaw has actually inspired this episode. So I was watching Sex and the City. I'm on season 5. I promise there's going to be no spoilers in this. But she was talking about how she was getting a lot of negative comments and just a lot of negativity in her life. And she was asking her friend, why is it that we always believe? Why is it when we look at our life, we have 100 million things to celebrate, but our mind focuses on that negative and focuses on the negative comments or the people that don't like us? Think about it. I bet you can remember what someone said to you that was really mean, but I bet you cannot remember all those wonderful comments that surrounded that comment. So why do we think like that? We could have a wonderful career, a wonderful family, but not have great friends, and we just automatically focus our attention onto those not great friends. We have 2/3 of everything in life, but we let that one thing we don't have affect all the things we do have. And why? Why do we think like that? This past week, I found myself surrounded by a lot of negativity. So I posted a podcast episode, or no, I didn't. Oh my goodness. I posted a reel on my podcast Instagram. Yes, that's it. And it was a TikTok of me crying because I was leaving college and I was leaving a place where I loved I made such wonderful friendships, a place where I made my routine. I made that place a home. And I was so upset that I wouldn't have that normalcy back in my life. And now these comments, they were wild. They were just so negative and mean and targeting. And I woke up one morning and there was 300 comments and I started reading them. And that's what I should not have done. But I went down the spiral and started reading them. I had to turn them off, and I'm so glad I did because they were so silly and so negative for no reason. And a lot of those comments were from people who did not have the credentials to be speaking. It was a lot of those usernames that are Bob the Builder, 51025, all those random usernames that people hide behind. And I found myself getting so upset because one of the comments said, why does this girl have a podcast? Who even listens to her? She has no right to be speaking. And I was ouch. And around me, I was having so much fun. I had just come back from Charleston. I had so much fun there and was so happy. And all of a sudden, my mood went down, 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 down. And for the next 3 days, that's all I fixated on. And I was like, well, why do they want me to be upset? And why are they saying these things? And are they true? And I was just going down the rabbit hole. And there was so much good happening around me at the time, but I chose to focus on that one thing. And that one thing was all these negative comments. And so I was in the dumps. But then I realized, hey, Caroline, this is what you've been working for. You want to get your voice out there. You want people to feel more understood. You want to create that community. And you should just be proud of yourself that this video is doing so well and that some people are relating and some people are saying oh, I'm so glad you brought light to this. And I wish I focused on those comments instead, but no, at the time I focused on all the negative. And I asked myself why. And in that moment, I honestly felt like Sex and the City, that episode, was speaking directly to me. Honestly, I have that weird way of when I watch a show, I'm like, oh, they're trying to tell me this, this is a sign. But I felt like I needed to hear this episode. And then I started getting in my notebook and I was like, let's talk about this today because I have a lot of negativity surrounding me lately. And I also have a lot of wonderful, amazing things surrounding me. So my question is, why did I focus on the negative that week? Why did I choose to dwell on that? See, like, for example, we could have 5 great friends, but the one we're no longer friends with makes us feel like we have none. We choose to focus on the smaller number for some reason. We choose to focus on the negative. And I think it definitely goes back to your mindset. So why are we focusing on that negative? Why are we focusing on the things that bother us? One of the things in my life was friends for a while. I had so many wonderful friends surrounding me. And I'm so lucky, 110% to have them in my life. They show me friendship through and through, are amazing people. And there would be one person who hated my guts, and I would dwell on them. I'd be surrounded by all these wonderful people, but I tell myself, I have no friends. Hello, Caroline, you have amazing, wonderful friends. And that's what you should be focusing on. Focus on the good, and the good gets better. So why do we get 10 compliments on Instagram messages and 1 hate comment and focus on that one? Why that one? Why isn't it that we are called beautiful, that we are called kind, that we are called a shining personality inside and out, but then we're called stupid in one comment, and that's the comment we focus on? It makes me wonder why. And the more you go deeper into it, ask yourself, if you were in a crowded room and you walked into this crowded room, who are you looking for first? And I can tell you, for a while, if I'm looking at this crowd in my head, I can imagine right now who I would be looking for. And for a while, it was the people that hated me most. And I would literally look up and down for them because I would be so nervous and just be like, oh, okay, so this person is over here and they hate me. Oh, and that person's over there and they hate me. So I have to keep myself composed, keep myself together. Why is it I was looking for those 2 negative people instead of looking for my best friends in the crowded room? And that's where I realized my mindset and my thinking was not in the correct space, and it was negatively shifting. So ask yourself, who are you looking for in that crowded room? The bullies or your best friends? And going forward, we're going to try to look for our best friends in the crowd and stop trying to look for the people that have hurt us. Now, I can sit here and tell you, stop thinking about the people that have hurt you, stop thinking about the negative comments. But when people come at you in the moment, it's hard. It's very hard because we let those voices win. We let those voices be the reason we do things. We let those voices be the voice of reason. Now, unless you're a very confident person, we let the negative cognitive bias be so powerful in our brain and let it take over to the point where we ruminate and obsess over these details that are bothering and hurt us, that these comments that have been made, and we obsess over it. And when you constantly think negative and think about only the negative thoughts, they continue to happen. You're manifesting them in a way. You're putting them out there. You're looking for more negative to come. If you kept believing all these negative comments, you would just be waiting for the next one to appear. You would just be waiting in that moment of negativity instead of flipping it around and saying, all right, do they have the credentials to be speaking? And I know I talked about this in another episode, and basically, for those who didn't hear that episode, it's basically saying, do these people have the credentials to be speaking? Like, example, if this was Spotify commenting on my podcast saying, you shouldn't be podcasting, like this area is not for you, that would be one thing. They have the credentials, they have the place to be talking. And then that's maybe where I could be like, okay, and think about that a little more. But the people that are usually making these negative comments are like Bob the Builder 552, that are hiding behind a screen with nothing but a name and have no place to be speaking and no success on what they're telling you. So why would you listen to them? And if you keep looking for it, the more you look for something, the more you're going to find it. So if you are looking for all this negativity in your life, of all these hate comments, you will find them, and you will find them easier and easier every time. But if you start looking and change your mindset to look towards the positive, look at the positive people in your life, look at the positive comments in your life, then that's the kind of energy you're going to attract. And this is not just about hate comments. This is about everything in your life. We have so much going for us in our lives. We have so much. And I want you to realize that. I want you to realize all the wonderful things and people that you're surrounded by. And when you realize how lucky, how much you've struck gold, you're going to keep finding more of that gold. And soon, the things that you don't have will flourish into things you do have because you're looking for those opportunities. And when you look for those opportunities over time, all those negative things that you weren't focusing on, you'll find they get solved on their own because you're not looking for the problem in the situation. You're looking for the solution, and you're looking at all the good, because when you look at the good gets better. And so I was doing a lot of research on this. I wasn't going to come on here and today and be like, put your mind to a good place and try not to be bothered. Saying that without anything else is absolutely crazy. I don't care who you are. You need to know more than that to have a positive outlook, to look at the good. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to look at the good and the good's going to get better. You have to train your mind and you have to train your brain to get there. So I came with a little research. I came prepared. And I was looking because lately my mind has been in the negative, and I was looking at what I didn't have in terms of friendships instead of all the wonderful friendships I did have. I'll give you guys a story. Over the past month, I've been looking a lot at the friendships I don't have instead of the ones that I do. And my therapist was like, Caroline, look around, look at all these girls and guys that are rooting for you and that are so lucky and happy to be your friend. Why are you focusing on these X amount of people that are literally preying on your downfall? Why are you focusing on them instead? And this week, I was having a really hard time with navigating some friendships and was really upset with something that had happened in my life. And the same day, I actually this was just like a sign in itself, because the night before, I remember being so upset and I was like, I need a sign that I'm going to be okay and that I have so many wonderful friends out there that I need to focus on. And weirdly enough, the next day, I get a pick-me-up package from one of my best friends at school that comes out of left field. And it was just one of those things. It could have even just been as simple as a card. And I was like, yeah, I'm set in my friendships and I'm really lucky to have them. It was literally like a sign. And I called my grandma and I was like, no, like my friend sent me this, like how nice. And she was like, God provides. And whether you're religious or not, like I agree with it. I won't go further into that. But I think life has a way of having wonderful signs come to us at the perfect time and when we need them most. So beyond just signs, I did some learning, and I was watching this video, and this guy named Jared Scott, he was explaining how our neural pathways work. And he was saying that negative thoughts destroy neural pathways in your brain, and they literally give you quote unquote brain damage. They are damaging your brain. They're damaging the neural pathways, all these negative thoughts. But on the other hand, positive thoughts are creating new neural pathways that chemically change your brain's thought. So every time you have positive thoughts, just think of dots adding onto each other and hooking onto each other, and they're making this whole new path. And when you have a negative thought, those negative thoughts are ruining the path. They're going into that path and striking at it and taking it away, literally damaging neural pathways of your brain. So basically, this is saying that your thoughts shape your brain, and your brain shapes your reality. So if your brain is a full line of all positive thoughts because each day you tried and worked a little harder to focus on the good, the good got better, and you built that positive pathway. And now in your mind, your thoughts go through that positive pathway instead of that negative pathway. And just like we say in manifesting, what our brain thinks is how our reality works. If we're super stressed, we are going to notice things in a stressful environment. If we're super grateful, we're going to notice all our gratefuls. If we're super anxious and nervous, we're going to focus on all the things that are making us feel like that. So what you need to do to start feeling unbothered is to find a positive in every single day. Find a positive, wake up, say, I am so grateful for this. I am so grateful for this friendship. I am so grateful for my job. I'm so grateful for my mom. Saying those things and having those match up will get you to that place where soon you can be unbothered and feel unbothered and not have these negative comments be the ones that your mind drift towards first or that your eyes see first. And instead, they're the ones you see last, and they're the ones that affect you less and less. So when our braids are in these modes, it also makes us think it's more important. So if we have a super strong negative pull and negative distortion of our life, it's going to make our brain feel like that is more important. And this is where, to become unbothered, you have to ask, are they qualified? Are they qualified? Are these thoughts and these people saying these comments qualified to be speaking? And then this is where you kick the bully out of your head. That is what we're going to do. We're going to put a new playlist in our mind, and we're going to turn that playlist on at all times of the day. Not just when we're happy, when we're sad. That playlist is going to be rolling in our head. And we're going to think about all the things that we do have. Because if we focus on what we don't have, we're just going to feel stuck. And instead, we're going to focus on actions to take and create the things that we want. The things that we are looking for in our life, in the dream board. And everything that we want to manifest in our life and are praying for. Because I saw this quote, and it was like, for everything there isn't, there's so much that is. There's so much out there. And my mom was telling me the other day, I was very upset the other day over something that doesn't need to be said on here. And my mom said to me, Caroline, look at the dream board in your room. Look at all the things you want to accomplish. Look at the person you want to become. And I was like, okay, yeah, like that's the person I want to become. And this is what I want in my life. And she said to find those areas, to get to those areas, there's things that aren't seen on that dream board. Sometimes we have to lose friendships. Sometimes we have to take ourselves out of situations. Sometimes we have to try new things and get out of our comfort zone that aren't pictured on that dream board to get to where we want to be. And that's all through the power of looking at what we do have instead of focusing on the negative things that are surrounding us or the negative things that people are saying about us. Because although you may not think it, there is plenty we can control and we can influence. And one of those things that we can influence is how we react to these things. Because when there's no reaction left, our body doesn't care anymore. Our body's not affected when a negative comment comes by. So for everything that isn't, there's so much that is, and there's plenty we can control out there and that we can influence. And what we can do is take precautions so we can feel unbothered. We can decide who we want to hang out with, and we can decide who has our best intentions. We can decide to turn comments off when we know we can't handle them right now, so we don't feel like we're going into that deep circle tornado of negativity. We have control over that. And at the end of the day, your mind creates your experience. Your mind determines how your life is and how you see your life. And if you can get your mind into a good place where you say, hey, I'm not bothered anymore. I'm not bothered by this BS. Then you are going to be that winner. But again, it takes time to do there. I would be crazy if I said to you guys in this microphone right now that I was unbothered. I am one of the most bothered people at the time right now. This is probably one of the worser points in my life where a lot of things are bothering me way easier than they should. But we're here and we're going to do this together because we don't deserve to believe the negative things that people say about us. And we don't deserve to have our mind go there. And we don't deserve to look at the glass half empty when we're accomplishing so much in our lifetimes. This is the best way I can describe it. When you take medicine, your brain knows you're going to get better because doctors say, they're like, oh, it's medicine. Of course you're going to get better. If you also took a placebo pill and you didn't know it was a placebo pill, you would still think you're getting better and feeling better. Use that placebo effect as something for ourselves. We know a placebo pill works. We know that it's all up to our mind at a point for our mind to just believe that, okay, that's not true. Okay, that's false. Okay, what they're saying is just a projection of themselves. And when we read these comments or get these nasty things said at us, at what point do we stop saying, what am I doing wrong? If you know that you are a good friend, if you know you are confident in your friendships and are a good person, and if you know you're good at your job, and if you're a good person, you know that. And you knowing that is so much more important than what other people are thinking. And what other people are thinking are all opinions of themselves. They're all just opinions, period. None of these things are facts that are being shared. That's just their opinion that they are saying out. So why are you trusting their opinion more than your own opinion? You know yourself best. And in all people's opinions and everything and all these comments, it's a projection of themselves. Have you ever seen a confident, secure, happy, positive, bright person being like, oh, you're mean. Oh, I hate your outfit. Oh, your makeup routine is absolutely awful. Oh, what you have to say is just bullshit. No, you never see someone confident in themselves and in what they do shitting on other people, ever, because they are so confident in themselves that they know they don't need to take the time to bring other people down. If you were so happy and confident in yourself, you wouldn't need to bring people down. The only reason people bring other people down and are so negative on people is because it's a projection of themselves. Let's take back that video, for example. People were calling me ugly. They're like, oh, I get what ugly crying means now. Okay, Bob the Builder 502. When they say that, what I think now is that, okay, I'm not ugly. They are just so uncomfortable in their own skin and they don't have self-worth. They don't see their beauty in themselves, that now they want to make it someone else's problem too. They want to project their own problem onto other people. And from a problem I had, I can see it. Problem I had growing up. In high school, I was not the nicest person from time to time. And I was super insecure with feeling left out. And I was always that person who everyone would hide their locations from and turn their snap maps off, or everyone would say they're somewhere else instead of where they actually were when they were all together, and hide. And I would be so upset by that. So then when it was my turn to have people over, I was acting like it was a VIP list, and I purposefully excluded people so I could feel validation in myself, that I could feel like other people, like it wasn't just me being left out, that other people were being left out too. So then that made me feel better at the time. Looking back, it makes absolutely no sense, but that's how my brain operated. And in that moment, me not inviting people was a projection of myself, a projection that there was something not connecting, that there was an insecurity in me to feel wanted and to be liked, that when I had the time to invite people over or have an event to make myself feel better, to make myself feel like that I wasn't the only one, I would do the same thing. And that was a projection of myself, not anyone else. It wasn't because I didn't like someone and didn't want their company. I wanted to feel like I had control. So you can see that was a projection of my insecurity. And that's what I did, and that's what other people do now. But people would say and still say like, oh, you're too much. Like, stop making those TikToks. That's so embarrassing. Like, please stop doing what you're doing. Take it down a notch. And I'm like, I'm not too much for the right people. Actually, to some of my best friends, that's their favorite part about me. And I'm not going to be less of me just to fit your picture of what that looks like. And going back to the comments on my video that I posted, people were like, this is so embarrassing. Why would you take a video of you crying? And I took a video for the people that still need an answer. I took a video of myself crying because I was like, I know other people out there are hurting and I know people can relate to this. And people were commenting like, this is so embarrassing. Like, why would you pick up a camera and do this? I just want everyone to know nothing is embarrassing unless you personally are embarrassed. That you are feeling secondhand embarrassment through the phone because you would be too insecure to do that you would be too scared to do that you can't imagine yourself doing it. The only reason we think someone else is embarrassing themselves is because we could never do that on our own. And if people are taking the time to comment this and comment mean things or message us rude things or whatever, it's just showing who they are as a person and where they need to fix themselves. And it is not anything about you. Because one of the things I've learned most throughout my girlhood, throughout high school, throughout college, is that how someone feels about themselves is how they're going to treat you. If they feel not confident, then they're going to drag you down too. I feel like we can all remember a time where we dragged someone down and we hurt someone, and it's like on our conscious now. And we made the amends, but we still look back and we're like, ooh, that should have never happened. I can remember, like, in any mean time I was mean, I would use that to then feel good. And you see it in like movies or something where someone does something purposefully mean, then they get like a power trip from it. And that's what gives them like the energy to feel good again. Secure people and confident people would never, ever, ever just be like, oh, I'm just going to go shit on this person's life just because. You never see that happening, because that's what this whole projection thing is. This whole world of negativity and things we don't have and negative things that people say about us, it's just continually proving the point that all these things that these people are saying, all these rude actions, is a projection of something that they're hurt about, that they're uncomfortable with, that something's been done to them. If you were a confident person and you were really confident in your friendships, there wouldn't be people you would be purposefully leaving out. The reason you're leaving people out, the reason you're saying these comments, is because you need a power trip. They need to feel in control. And in this situation, this is the way they do it, that they take their time and energy just to make them feel better about themselves. And we learn this in like kindergarten, but the more we actually like think about it and talk about it, it is so true. And the more you dive deep into it, the more you realize it was never about you being yourself and being super crazy. It was never about you and how you look. It was never about that. It was never about how you looked. It was about them. It's something deeper. And I want you to know that when people say these negative comments or make you focus on these negative things, it's just something so deep in them that they are trying to take it away from you, because they see you so secure and they are jealous that you have it, that you're doing, that you're your happiest self, that you're doing what you actually want to be doing. And they're jealous that they're not doing that for themselves. So I want you to think about that the next time someone tries to hurt you or tries to leave a negative comment or says like a little jab at you. Just remember how much of what they're saying is actually about them deep down. And through all these comments, some people will always deny it till the day they are dead, saying, oh, I'm not insecure, I'm not this. If you weren't that, then why are you taking the time out of your day to hurt someone, to bring them down, to push them down a level? The people that are confident are the ones that are inviting everyone everywhere, are lifting each other up, that are saying, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Oh my gosh, this video was absolutely awesome. Oh my gosh, I love the energy you're bringing to this TikTok video. Like, you go, girl. Those are the people. And those are the comments that you actually want to listen to, because those are from the confident, secure people that are actually know what they're doing, that are actually focused and took the time to better themselves. Why wouldn't you want to listen to those comments of these people who took the time to learn what confidence is, to learn how secure they can be in themselves, and to then give it to people around them? Those are the people that you should be listening to. It's crazy to listen to these people who have nothing better to do than take the time to leave comments. And in that video, I turned off the comments because I was like, okay, I don't need to deal with this. I don't need to read this stuff. And then there were people who took it a step further and went on another one of my videos and continued the comments. I'm like, okay, not only are you insecure, you took that much more time to then go on another one of my videos and type what you needed to say. You tried that hard to leave a comment. So when people are making these comments, think, okay, this is how much they are trying to affect me, that they see how happy I am. They're jealous of something I have, and they are trying to knock me down. That's what I want you to think about. And don't give the energy of defending yourself, because it's honestly just you wasting a breath. It's, for example, with all those hate comments, I could have commented back to someone and been like, okay, this is actually why I did the video. Like, stop coming at me. But I'm like, okay, what is that doing defending myself? Like, I'm going to make them feel smaller after, because they're going to realize how silly the comment they just made was and how mean they just were. And that's just going to bring like them down a level. Like, don't waste your time, because the right people will understand. The right people you won't need to explain yourself to. Anything that a person says negatively to you is something that they're self-conscious about, is something that they wish they could have better, is something they're jealous of. And the more you take time to think about it, the more it makes sense. So when these people are giving negative comments and saying negative things about us, why do we want to trust them? Why do we want to trust the people that are so insecure in themselves that they want to make other people feel insecure? And instead, why not we trust the comments of the people who are actually proving themselves, who are actually secure, who are actually confident in themselves? I mean, that's the advice I would want to take from. I would want to take advice from someone who knew what they were doing and not raining on other people's parade just to make themselves feel better. So assess all these relationships, whether they're in your life, whether they're online. And I just want you to realize there's so much out there. And I want you to start realizing the power of believing all that good and realizing the source behind all of this negativity. I saw this quote and it said, "Don't waste your time trying to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you." Do not waste your time, because if you commented back to one of those people, you're just giving in. You're giving them more ammo. You're wasting your time, because they obviously don't see what the point was from the start. So they're just trying to jab at you and jab at you and jab at you. And they just want to find things wrong. So don't waste your time on people who are trying to look for all the wrongs in you. And at the end of the day, realize it's not you. It's the people who are making these comments. It's the people who are bringing you down. It's the people who are giving that negativity in your life. It's a result of them and not you. And recognizing this makes it so much easier to let go of opinions that people bring to the table about you, and why people leave you out, and why people are the way they are and say the things they say. And it makes it a lot more easier to accept the compliments and the nice things and actions that people say about you, because you can see that it's coming from a secure, confident place in them. And they really do mean that when they're saying it, because they know confidence and security in themselves, and they see it in other people, and they see it in people like you. So I feel like I had a lot to say for that one, and I'm really glad I talked about this, because I can sit and tell you, one thing that, oh, stop worrying about it, don't let it get to you. But that's really, really hard. So I think it's important to find the source of it and find where it's going wrong, because we have now approached Hot Girl Summer. We want to feel confident, we want to feel secure, and we want to be surrounded by that same kind of energy. And I want you to stop saying, what am I doing wrong? Like, how can I fix this? You can't fix other people. You just can only fix yourself. And by recognizing that this is such a bigger projection and it has nothing to do with you, that will continue to help you find security and confidence in yourself. Because remember, at the end of the day, confident people and secure people are not ruining other people's lives, are not preying on other people's downfalls. Because at the end of the day, remember, confident and secure people are the ones that are winning. So those are the kind of people we want to get opinions from and advice from. And we know the confident people are only bringing goodness out there, are only spreading good vibes, and you should accept those when you get them. So I feel like I chatted a lot about this episode. So yeah, I love you guys. If you guys want to put a face to the video I've been talking about and referencing throughout this video, it's on the Instagram at On the Bright Side Pod with 2 Ds, and it's the one of me crying about college, and a lot of good comments came, but also a lot of bad ones. But I hope that video can help some people, because I've gotten DMs and I'm happy to see that it has helped people. Okay, I've hit that time in the podcast where I'm officially just talking. All right, with that, I love you guys so much. Follow at On the Bright Side Podcast with 2 Ds. Show me some love. So much wonderful, exciting news coming out on there. And yeah, always leave a 5-star review. It always helps me, and it helps for a new fun guest to come on. All right, I love you guys. With that, remember to stay looking on the bright side, and I promise you it'll serve you really well. All right, love you guys. Bye-bye.